Vine stood under the starry night sky, her arms crossed against her chest. She was clad in a robe, her cell phone in the room somewhere ringing continuously, but she was not going to answer it. She was mad after all. It was probably her husband calling her non-stop, but why would you do something to make her mad first? It was normal for her to use her husband's cell phone for taking pictures or playing games, but a random text message from his ex popped up, gaining her attention. She never opened his inbox before. She trusted him, but this time it was a complete different story. As she opened the inbox, she found out he had been conservating with her for an interval of a week now. She didn't read what the texts were about. Ryan was always strict about privacy, but this one thing kept disturbing her. She tried to ignore it, but then she realized she couldn't. Why would he text his ex? Maybe she should have just read the text instead. She heard the main door of the apartment opening. She knew it was him. However, she stayed stuck to her place, eyes on the sky. It was indeed her husband. As he came inside, he directly attended her first. Jungkook, Ryan, I've been calling for the past 2 hours now. I was worried sick. Ryan, I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk. His anger slightly calmed down as he frowned. Jungkook, hey, did something happen? He put his coat away and held her arms, turning her towards him. Ryan, are you hungry? I'll set the dinner. She got out of his hold and went to kitchen. Jungkook found it extremely weird. Wine was always the type to share the problem and find a solution. She was always the type to be respectful, so this behavior felt really new to Jungkook. Jungkook, Ryan, I've been worried sick for the past 2 hours, only to rush back home and see you purposefully ignoring the calls. You could have informed me instead. Ryan, Jungkook, I said I'm sorry, but I need some time alone. I need to figure my feelings. Jungkook, what feelings? What's going on? She simply left the room. She felt bad for behaving like this, but she couldn't help it. She knew if she confronted him about the text now, she might not be able to control herself, and she didn't want to do that. However, it frustrated Jungkook. He was not used to being shut out of conversations. He exhaled and threw his tie away. He had a bad day at work. He wanted to understand her and give her space. But was it too hard to tell him she was not in trouble? He marched over to shower, wanting to calm himself, because he wanted to handle her with care and gentleness. But when it was not helping her, he marched out, grabbed her wrist, throwing the spatula on the counter, and dragged her with him. Wine, Jungkook, what are you doing? He dragged her all the way inside the shower and pinned her against the wall. The water dropped all over her, getting her wet along with her robe. Jungkook, how about we calm down together? He was breathing heavily, and Vine curled. His hand went to the string of her robe as he undid it, and it fell on the ground, leaving both of them completely naked. Jungkook, stop ignoring me. Stop pushing me away. Stop shutting me out. He gripped her jaw and kissed her. Vine's nail dug in his skin, leaving scratches as she kissed him back. The stain formed all over the shower glass walls. His hand wrapped around her neck as he pinned her against the wall, with his body leaving no space in between them, earning a sinful sound from her. Once he pulled away, the two were breathing heavily. Why, Anne? Why were you talking to Sarah? I saw your texts. Jungkook, if you saw them, you should know, love. He somehow calmed down after finding his answers. Vine, I didn't read them. I just saw you were talking to her. She looked away. She was equally embarrassed and hurt at the same time. She couldn't believe how she was reacting over something without taking it out. This was not her. Jungkook, you should have asked, baby. You should have read the text otherwise. She looked down, and he held her chin, making her look up at him again. Jungkook, back when we were in a relationship, she had this favorite place she loved to visit for dinner. It was run by an old lady who was always treated us like her own children. Recently, she had been extremely sick and on bed rest, so Sarah requested me to visit her once as she asked about me a lot. Wine's eyes softened up even more, and guilt was bigger than anything else. Wine, this is what I need you to figure out. I hated how I was reacting. I kept telling myself I should have read the text or talk it out, but I don't know why. I'm sorry, Jungkook. I never doubted you, but maybe I was jealous seeing you in contact with your ex. Jungkook, it's fine. I'm sure I would be jealous as well if I was in your place. After all, I'm quite possessive about you. Why? Why are you trying to make me feel better? I should be the one doing that. Mine felt so guilty that she almost started crying, and Jungkook chuckled, picking her up in his embrace and turned off the shower. Jungkook, you're so out of character. I know you would rather discuss it with me, and I know why it is all happening. Your periods are close by. No? That's probably mood swings. That's when it hit her, and she started to cry more. earning another laugh from him because he found her cute. He wrapped them up in a towel and took her out, putting her on the bed. Jungkook, that's fine. I'll order you some your favorite meal. Wine. Of course, you ruined the one I was making. She wiped her cheeks and he kissed her head. Jungkook, I know you would do that. But again, please love. No matter what trouble it is, talk it out with me. She nodded and he ordered a meal for them, taking a hair dryer and sat behind her, drying her hair. Jungkook, I was planning to visit the old lady this weekend. I also wanted to talk to you and ask you to join me. I wanted to introduce you to her. Will you come with me? Fine. I'll go with you anywhere, girl. He kissed her cheek and she smiled, feeling much better. As the meal arrived and the two had their time enjoying their dinner,